What is going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from all of the different comic book companies out there. Today, we're going to jump back over to DC Comics because we're going to begin our coverage over DC New Frontier. This is another world in the DC multiverse where we focus on the heroes being placed around the 1940s and the 1950s. Now, we're only going to cover the first issue of this series because each of the issues are very long. So each video will cover one of the books, and this one gives us an idea of what the world is like, but also gives us Hal Jordan in this world as well. So if you do like today's comic book video, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. But I do hope you enjoy. Now, the way this book opens up, we pick up on Dinosaur Island in the year 1945. And of course, this is after World War II. Now, Dinosaur Island is a very intriguing thing, where you have an island that is full with dinosaurs, but we're going to learn later on that once you arrive on this island, you have a hard time leaving this island. But we pick up with a man named Johnny Cloud and his dog Pooch, where he is writing a story on the wall about a group he was part of called the Losers, giving us a story on what happened with him and the rest of his squad once they had arrived on this island. We jump back before they crash and we learned that at the tail end of World War II, America was going around and grabbing scientists for their post-war plans. Now, one of the scientists was being transported by a plane, but the plane crashed. The squad that was on the plane was being led by Richard Flagg. Now, before diving farther, I want to point out who is on the Losers, which is Sarge, Cloud, Gunner, and William. Also their dog Pooch. And so the Losers were sent in to find Richard Flagg, his squad, the scientists, grab the plane and bring it back to the mainlands. Except, of course, when they find the plane and bring it back, they lose connection to the mainland. But also the fact, while being in the ocean, their boat crashed and lands on Dinosaur Island. And the way the boat crashed, it seems that something in the water sent them flying to Dinosaur Island. Now, of course, when they crash on Dinosaur Island, you have Pooch, which is the squad's dog, sense something is coming towards them, which is a T-Rex, and the squad begins to panic because they never saw a live dinosaur before until this point here. And so they have to grab whatever they can that will help them fight against this dinosaur. Except in the middle of the fight, you have the Losers realize that their team member Gunner was killed by an attack by the dinosaur. And this is a shocking moment for them, because in a matter of minutes they lost one of their own. But they can't focus too long on the fact they lost their friend, because there is still a T-Rex trying to kill them, and so they have to continue to fight the monster before they join their brother in the afterlife. They were able to use a bazooka to shoot off an arm of the T-Rex, which makes him walk away to lick his wounds. But for the Losers, they have to pay their respect to their brother. They only were on the island for a matter of a few minutes and they lost one of their own. Now, of course, they don't stay there. They actually continue to go deeper into the island to see if they can find other humans on the island. With them doing that, they were able to find Richard Flagg and his squad stuff in a cave. Remember, the Losers were sent to find Richard Flagg, his squad, and his scientists. Now, when they find the cave, they also find Japanese and Australian army stuff as well. More proof that once you get on this island, you are stuck there on this island. We come to find out the next day, Sarge went down to bury the body of Gunner, while Cloud and Storm stayed in the cave. But they were woken up by what sounds like missiles being fired. That tells them that Sarge is in trouble, except when they get outside the cave, they are greeted by pterodactyls, and of course, something else they were not prepared for, and so they have to run for their lives and hope to get to Sarge before he dies. Except while they were trying to get down there, of course, one of the pterodactyls grabbed Storm, and this is how Cloud became the last surviving member of the Losers. Now when Cloud gets back to the cave, he is greeted by Richard Flagg, the man he and the Losers were sent to go save, where you have Flagg tell Cloud that Cloud is the last member of the Losers, that Sarge also died, and so those missiles they heard earlier were basically Sarge's last attempt to survive. But you have Flagg reveal that he has micro copies of the notes of the scientists they were sent to grab and bring back to America. And so you have Flagg and Cloud agree they need to find a way to get back to America. You have Flagg and Cloud working their way through the island and making it to the shore, where of course they find a boat. But here comes the twist of this moment. You have Cloud tell Flagg to leave, that Cloud is going to stay and kill the monster that killed Gunner, the T-Rex of course. And so you have Flagg leave on the boat and you have Cloud go back to kill the dinosaur, which of course we pick up on the present day, and we see how Cloud finished writing on the wall. But of course his goal is to wrap everything up one last time to try to kill off the dinosaur. Sadly, this section ends with Cloud dying, being the last member of the Losers. Also, the dog dies as well, which is really sad to see. But that is how the Losers came in and went in this universe. 3 years later in 1948, we get to pick up with the star of this issue. Well, to me, it is the star of this issue, where we see a young boy sneaking into the Air Force Base, where we see that it is Hal Jordan himself. The reason why he came here is because he wants to meet his hero Chuck Yeager, who is actually a real person in the real world. But the point of this is that we see Hal meeting his hero, and Chuck can see the jacket that Hal is wearing. The jacket belongs to Hal's father, Martin, and Chuck knew Martin. And so he hangs out with Hal, but we also see this inspires Hal to become a pilot. The second chapter of this book, we pick up with our man in Gotham City, who is part of the Justice Society. As we know in DC Comics, before Justice League, we had the Justice Society. Our man was being chased by police officers on rooftops, where it ends with all of them dying by falling from the rooftop. This is where we get a newspaper where we learn a little bit of what this world is like for superheroes. This was written by Iris West, and she writes that around this time, vigilantes were told they had to register to work for the government or retire being a hero. Our man and much of the other members of the Justice Society did not register, of course. Now we learned the reason why this was being forced is because of the House on Un-American Act, where this was this blacklist of people who the government thought they were acting un-American and trying to force communists into the country. One of them was a popular hero named Roy Raymond. With Roy Raymond being one of the heroes on that list, of course, they put the rest of the Justice Society on that list as well. The government wanted them to register and reveal who they were, except the heroes went into hiding, and that was a sign they retired. Now you had Superman and Wonder Woman register with the government. The government did send Superman to go and grab other unregistered heroes like Batman. We learn the two of them fought, but Batman was able to beat Superman with some kind of chemical. To close on this section, we learn that President Eisenhower pushed the formation of Task Force X, which is known as the Suicide Squad. This team is being led by Richard Flagg, and this team was a way to handle any big threats rather than trying to rely on heroes for help. We skip forward in time again and we pick up in 1953. This is the point where America is in the Korean War. We pick up with Hal Jordan and his friend Ace Morgan, how they talk about them both being pilots at the end of the war. Except, of course, the war just ended and not everyone knows the war has ended. And so while they were in the air, they got attacked by some Korean soldiers. This is the moment you have the book tell us that Hal does not believe in firing his bullets, but he would leave targets in the view for his partners to kill them. Except this time, Hal's jet gets hit badly and he has to eject out, but he is unconscious. And so Ace Morgan had to kill off the targets, do a flip in the air, and grab Hal Jordan so he can release the parachute for Hal to land safely on them. But the story gives us Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen, where we see them on a military base being reporters in a way. While being there, you have Lois Lane greeted by a pilot named Steve Johnstone. While Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen get on his chopper, he gets a call about going to pick up Hal Jordan. Ace Morgan already has been picked up, safe and secure. This issue closes on the fact that when Hal wakes up, he wakes up in Korea territory, their enemy, and these guys don't know that the war is over. But this section is more showing the fear in Hal when it comes to him being in a territory where he could be killed. Now, luckily for him, Lois Lane, Steve Johnstone, and Jimmy Olsen are flying in and throwing grenades to get rid of the soldiers so that he is able to get on the chopper. But the first issue are with us seeing them flying away from the Korea area, and we learn a little bit of this world in this book. Next week, we will learn more. And this is where we are going to end today's video right here. So please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.